they could be winning the Super Bowl or could be 3-14 and you'd never know the difference. Yeah, pretty good. Doing fine. Everything's good. Looks great. Team looks good. We were a top 5 offense. Not a problem. And listen, all I would say to people out there, because I've gotten a lot of people tweet at me, DM me, like, oh my God, did you hear that press conference? He thinks they're good offensively. They just fired like half their coaching staff on offense. They don't think they're fine offensively.
Right.
Okay. You can't win a Super Bowl if your quarterback is terrible. It happens.
Yeah.
It's extraordinarily rare.
We won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier having Tyreek Hill on the goddamn offense.
Two things can be true at the same time. The Chiefs are a really good team. The Raiders are an absolute disaster.
Is that football show here on KC Sports Number Tucker Franklin, hanging out with Matt Verderame for your Friday edition of that football show. Boy, howdy, do we have a whole lot to talk about, and we got all kinds of stuff to dunk on, to discuss, and celebrate as well. And if you are watching along with us, I hope that you have a glass of Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond Bourbon or anything of the products from Holiday Distillery. We appreciate them so very much for making this show a possibility. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing better than a lot of former Browns coaches. Jim Schwartz, Bill Belichick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm doing better than that because it has been a rough 72 hours for I think is Jim Schwartz former Browns coach. I think he feels that way.
I think he wants to be. I don't know if he can legally be.
Right. So people who want to be out of Cleveland and or were forced out, doing better than them. As we had a week of football where this normally is a week where you're kind of, all right, come up for air, got the Pro Bowl. Nobody gives a flying fuck about that.
Right.
Like, you've got, which we're going to get into, by the way, because apparently we have to give somewhat of a flying you-know-what about it because
also Cleveland.
The Cleveland Browns got involved again.
Yeah.
And screwed everything up. This week went from being a sleepy week to a very busy week. The Hall of Fame got involved. Then I stupidly got involved because I called one of the people that was chiefly involved. And, I could have just enjoyed my Tuesday night. But I was like, what? I'm going to put my reporting hat on and make a phone call. And then got a quote that ended up everywhere. Yeah. I had like a family member text me. I was like, hey, like, you're in the New York Post? I was like, I mean, that thing should be only picked up to like clean up a spill or something. But still, yeah. Mike Florio wrote 2 articles about it, which I'm not saying to brag. I'm saying because I don't know if I should be proud or ashamed. I think probably ashamed. But yeah. This has been a week. A whole lot's going on a week where really we should have just been able to relax.
And the Pro Bowl's not even this weekend. It's on Tuesday next week.
Right. Which, what?
Stupid. So stupid.
What's going on Sunday that the NFL's like, wait a minute, we can't, we're getting usurped here.
There's no way that they go back to playing the actual football game, right? Because they've already opened Pandora's box in that regard. But I saw some highlights. Man, I think it was like mic'd up from, I want to say 2018 maybe. And they actually were still playing the football game. It was before that. And they were still playing the football game in that atmosphere at like Aloha Stadium in Hawaii when it was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And they were actually, they weren't really like full out playing a football game, right? As close as they could to playing a football game. There's just something about that. There's something about that where it seemed like these people, like these players actually cared about being in the Pro Bowl and being Pro Bowlers. Now it's an absolute joke. The Pro Bowl's an absolute joke. It's the Pro Bowl games. Sorry, I should correctly name it, but
no, you shouldn't.
You got, I mean, I guess let's just start here then. Shedeur Sanders named to the Pro Bowl because he threw more interceptions and touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
So that's good. Look, at some point, do you say maybe we're out of Pro Bowlers? like we can't have any more quarterbacks. Sorry, you could only have 2 because Josh Allen obviously was dealing with the injury. Patrick Mahomes, I think, was a replacement, but then
he was the first alternate, I believe. But then he obviously was not going to do it.
can't be there. I mean, you got injuries for a lot of the AFC quarterbacks. So then it got all the way down to Shedeur Sanders.
Correct.
And he was named a Pro Bowl player. And that's always going to be on his Pro Football Reference page, man.
Which is ridiculous. Look, here's the reality of this is one of two things. Either from now on, if these guys are named as alternates, it doesn't count as an actual Pro Bowl. Like that doesn't, you don't get.
It's fair.
You can maybe get the money for it, like fine, whatever. You don't get to be called a Pro Bowler moving forward. Sure, Sanders isn't a Pro Bowler. He's terrible. Okay.
Yeah. We always use Tyler Huntley as that example, right? As like being a Pro Bowler, but now it's going to be Shedeur Sanders.
By the way, Tyler Huntley just beaming now. I'm not the worst.
7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, by the way, was his touchdown.
56% complete from 8 stops.
Yep. He's bad.
Yeah. So that's one answer. The other answer is to just stop playing all this crap altogether and just name a Pro Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Solve that problem. We're done.
Yep.
The game was, look, I never really watched it much because, like, even as a kid, the games was crap. But, like, I agree with you. Like, when it was in Hawaii, at least, like, players went because they wanted to go.
Yeah, wanted to go to Hawaii.
Families, whatever, right? And then Robert Edwards in the 90s went out there, blew his knee out on the beach. Like, his career ended, and that was the end of that. Look that story up. That's wild. Running back for the Patriots in the 90s. So... yeah, now like they moved it to Camping World Stadium, and everybody justifiably was like, "Fuck that! I'm not going to
Orlando." Yeah,
God.
Well, it's in San Francisco this year, right?
I don't even know. Is it?
I think it's in. I think it's in San Francisco this year.
You couldn't pay me to watch that. In fact, literally, Sports Illustrated couldn't pay me to watch that. They were like, "Hey, what do you think about writing like a little column off that game?" Like, no, I'd rather not. Please, no. And it was scrap. Thank God. Mostly because the Hall of Fame's given me enough content to write for a month. But in any event,
it's in San Francisco, by the way. Clean that up. It's in the Moscone Center in San Francisco.
Okay.
7-on-7 flag football game.
And I'm sure it's going to be enthralling.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the upside of this thing at this point? Just who cares? Just bag it. Nobody cares. Name the teams. Move on. It's like name all pro teams. You know, just do that. Like, I think that's reasonable and fair. But yeah, I mean, it's an embarrassment that Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and somehow it's not the most embarrassing thing you have in the Browns this week.
It really isn't. It really isn't. If you haven't been following the Cleveland Browns that closely,
God bless you.
I understand. Congratulations. You haven't been.
You have a life. Good for you.
Yeah. But to catch you up real quick, the Browns were one of the last 3 head coaching vacancies still open with Las Vegas and Arizona, if you want to consider those head coaching vacancies. The Browns were the last maybe real head coaching vacancy, if that's kind of a stretch though, too. They were a vacancy that was open, and they had a lot of the young guns. They had a lot of the younger guys that hadn't gotten hired as finalists for that job. Grant Udinski, they had Nate Shieldhouse was one of them there. It seemed like that those 2 guys were kind of duking it out. You know, you did have a couple of guys pull out, like Mike McDaniel said, you know what, never mind. I think I'm good. I think I'm going to stay here. I think, who else pulled out? Was it Dable pulled out or Joe Brady pulled out too?
Daniel, Brady, I believe, did. Didn't Shieldhouse?
Shieldhouse eventually pulled out, and so did Udinski. They both eventually pulled out. But they were like finalists for the job, and then both of those young
Chris Shula.
Oh yes, Chris Shula, yes.
He kind of started the trend, I believe.
Yeah, kind of trendsetter, Chris Shula.
Yeah,
we've always
Chris
said
Shula
that
pulled out of the job, and everybody else was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah,
like, fuck that, I'm not taking that job.
And so then at that point, when all of these guys were pulling out, it was kind of assumed that it was going to be Jim Schwartz.
Yes.
Was going to take the job as the defensive coordinator of the team. You know, players really love him, and that's
actually done a really good job.
Has done a good job with that defense, yeah. And he didn't get the job. It was Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, who, notoriously really good offense, Baltimore Ravens, and notoriously do not shit their pants, Baltimore Ravens. So he's named the head coach.
A known team that executes in big moments. Okay. A team that never disappoints in the way that it puts together a drive in a key spot. Yes.
Right. A team's offense that never lets them down in any situation. A team when they have a lead going into the fourth quarter that they're going to, take care of business. Nevertheless, he gets hired as the Browns head coach, and which is unbelievable. And that doesn't sit very well with Mr. Jim Schwartz. Reports are that he was very upset and was telling other coaches that he's quote unquote done with the Browns, and was very angry and very upset that he thought that was his job basically to get after all of these guys back out. And now he wants out of Cleveland, and they are pretty much saying, hey, you're still in our contract technically.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that all plays out, and with all that. But man, what a wild head coaching saga that went on in Cleveland.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think Jim Schwartz is Vince Lombardi.
Sure,
okay?
Yeah.
As a head coach of the Lions, he was kind of a maniac, and it didn't really work out well.
Mm-hmm.
You have one side of the ball that functions in Cleveland. He did a really good job with them. All these guys, by all accounts, were like, yeah, we would love it if Jim Schwartz was the head coach of this team, including Myles Garrett. The Browns watched everyone and their mother pull their name out of consideration, okay? There are people that worked at the local gas station who are like, listen, please, I'd rather not. And Jim Schwartz comes through the breach and is like, I will take on this job against all odds and coach us until we play in a fucking dome stadium in Cleveland.
Right.
And the Browns, knowing he wanted to do the job, knowing he had full support of the players, were like, you know what? How do you guys feel about Todd Monken, who's the same exact age as Jim Schwartz, has less head coaching experience, has been I think fair to say, a very underwhelming offensive coordinator throughout his NFL career, which also includes a stop in Cleveland when they went 6-10 in 2019. And the Browns, for reasons that remain very unclear, were just like, I don't know this guy. Why? What? I would love to know what the thought process was in the building. Assuming there is a thought process in Cleveland.
Well, you did see that there was a report that came out that that they went against their own GM and hiring firm that they hired.
Good. That's good.
So shout out to the Haslam family for that one. They said
husband's just been rock solid to this point.
They said, we're going to hire these people to make decisions for us, but we're not going to agree to let them make decisions. That's what the Haslam family did.
To go full circle on the Browns here, it's like when they drafted Shedeur Sanders and they showed the war room. And normally in a war room, especially if you feel like you've gotten a steal, you're pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
That room looked like the control center at NASA when the Challenger exploded. It was unbelievable how devastated they all looked. And the only guy there is like Haslam just clapping in the middle of the room. You're like, all right, yeah, I know what happened. I don't even need to call anybody. Yeah. Like, I know exactly what happened. Yeah. Jimmy Haslam walked in there and was like, guess fucking what? We're taking Shedeur Sanders because we got some jerseys to sell. And
it worked. I saw he was like number 3 on the jersey list.
Congrats.
Shout out Fanatics.
Now you get the Pro Bowl jersey.
That's true. They still sell those?
I'm sure.
I mean, it's Fanatics. I'm sure that's
bro. I was going to say, you kidding me? I'm sure they sell those
but they're
in
the worst
kid sizes.
Quality you've ever seen in your life, too. It's like made with the worst material. It's something for $300 and they're ironed on crooked.
They're such garbage.
Horrible organization.
And now they're taking over trading cards, too.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. Sports sold its soul out to this disaster.
We got to figure something out. There's that movement going on Twitter right now, #InFanatics, and I have been talking with the guy actually in the DMs about it. I'm just like, hey man, we gotta do something about this.
Band together.
We are banding together. We've got wrestling fans, we got NHL fans, we've got fans from all across the sports universe that are coming together and being like, hey, they've ruined literally everything. When you look at,
I mean, the baseball jerseys, what, a year ago? One of the funny
through their pants.
Wasn't good. It's like, well, this guy's really excited to be at the ball game, and we know that because Fanatics has given us a window. Yeah, I mean, the last names in the back were hilarious.
And they were so tiny. Tiny.
Yeah. We should talk to Kissel about getting us into Fanatics Fest and just pulling an inside job.
Yeah.
Dude, why do you guys suck?
We need to get banned from Fanatics Fest is what we need to do. We need to go there and cause such a stink. They're like, you guys can't come back.
That's not going to be a problem. I can make that.
Yeah,
that's my wheelhouse.
Hey, Michael Rubin, can you be more greedy? Is it possible for you to be even more greedier than you already are?
I saw somebody call them a terrorist organization on Twitter, and I immediately thought of you. I'm like, well, Tucker would be proud of this moment.
It's catching on, man. I mean, I'm telling you, it's obviously not my movement. I shout out to the guy that I've been chatting to on Twitter. Like, he's very much of like, it's not my movement either. It's just like, it is our movement. #InFanatics is what the hashtag it's been going around, because it is Babs at Babs on the mic on Twitter. I've been messaging with him a little bit of just like, it's really what it came down to is he started to look at, he's a Patriots fan, and he was looking at, I would like to get a Super Bowl jersey, right? You know, Your team's going to the Super Bowl. You want a jersey with that patch on it.
Yep.
He looked at it and he said, wait a second. They're telling me they're not going to send it until after the Super Bowl. Why would I buy this?
That's not helpful.
It's not helpful at all.
Your team gets absolutely throttled. And they're like, guess what's in the mail? $300.
Yeah. Yeah. You pay $300 for a shirt or for a jersey that has ironed on numbers. This tweet here was talking about like the vapor fuse jerseys that Nike does. Yep. And it's talking about how he sent it back because the numbers had creases in them. Creases in the numbers. This is supposed to be the nice high-end jersey that you buy from Nike.
Right.
And he got another one. They were like, all right, we'll send you another one. That one also had creases in it. So like they have no shred of quality control. They've got, then they don't care is the other part of it, is they don't care. The biggest problem is it makes Nike look cheap as shit, right? It makes all these other brands that are allowing Fanatics to get cheap and cut corners with the brands look bad. And maybe the only hope that we have is that we can tell Nike, hey, Fanatics is ruining you. Like your image is being ruined by this horrible company and terrorist organization.
And it's all fair.
And I think that like that could work, but we got to figure something out. We can't have Fanatics making them like, because Fanatics also makes the hockey jerseys as well.
Yep.
Horrible that they wear them on the ice and they're horrible quality. Yeah. And like it's something that I am very passionate about. If you guys follow this podcast for quite some time, you guys know that I'm very anti-Fanatics, but the fact that they have monopolized every single bit of being a fan is what is most frustrating to me. Now they have a sports book, so good news.
Yeah, they need to be stopped at all costs. Yeah. So no, I'm with you there. Between listen, but the movement, you've been calling them a terrorist organization. We're getting somewhere. Well, you mentioned to me, I didn't even see it, but apparently on Instagram there was a video adjusting for Browns. Yeah, there was. I got to tell you, I don't know who that guy is, where it came from, but we need to fight that guy. Because
we do. Scored out old like high noon type shit, type thing. Yeah.
Just show up at his house and just pull him out in front, pull him out of the doorway in front of his kids. You want to talk shit? But oh my God, I had no idea. Well, now you know. Now you know. Just throw him back in his doorway.
I think they said adjusted for Brown, Shedeur Sanders had 72 touchdowns and 1 interception,
which is accurate. At least it was done correctly.
Yeah, they have the equation right.
I said it on a radio show today, and the guy was like, "Huh." Hold on. I was like, all right, good. I was talking about Sam Darnold. And I was like, if you're such Jets, the guy, he might be Joe Montana. And they enjoyed that. Listen, I mean, this week, I feel like the Browns, they were heavily involved, which is odd for the Browns to be involved this late in January, but they were.
That's a great yeah.
And then the Hall of Fame voting never gets leaked. It just comes out when it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Not often any surprises, maybe a moderate surprise, but nothing crazy. Well, not this year. Gets leaked out that Belichick's not in the class.
Yep.
And everybody and their mother who's on the 50-man or 50-person panel, there's some women on there. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, I voted for him, until Vahe Gregorian stood up like a man. And it was like, I didn't vote for him, and here's why. And you know what? I don't agree with Vahe. Like, if I had a vote, I would have voted for him. I respect the hell out of Vahe Gregorian for doing that. You know,
I agree.
He's got to hide like the rest of these dopes who are so terrified. Although Mike Chappelle came out in Indianapolis, and he said he didn't vote for him, too. He voted for Kraft, which is kind of wild to me. Yeah, voted for Kraft, didn't vote for Belichick. I believe because of the cheating, but I was like, that doesn't seem to track.
Yeah.
But okay. I guess you could say Kraft's unaware, but like he owns a team. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't settle well with me.
Yeah, it doesn't really square. But look, the bottom line is I think this is going to be something. This is going to be the story of the week for the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yeah.
This is because nobody really gives a shit about either one of these two teams in the Super Bowl. Nobody cares about Sam Darnold, and nobody cares about New England because people are like, oh my God, New England again. Nobody cares. Even though it's a completely different team, it's still the Patriots. Yeah. So this is going to loom over this entire thing all week long until we get the NFL honors, which I never go to. Like, because we're credentialed media, we can go. I never go. I might go because I want to see the reaction when whatever poor bastard has to go up there and croak out the Hall of Fame class.
Yeah.
in a year that the Patriots are there, right? Like, if Robert Kraft gets inducted, that's going to be unbelievable. Like, what happens? Does he go up there and rip the crap out of the Hall of Fame? Yeah. Or does he go up there and he's like, you know what, I hate Belichick too. Thanks a lot. Good night. Fascinating.
Yes, it is going to be very fascinating. I want to go back to the point where they brought up about Vahe. I do really respect him, like writing an article and like explaining his thought process of like why he was voting. Again, I don't think that I agree with how he used his vote, but again, that's his prerogative. It's his vote. It's his prerogative. I respect him going out there and explaining his process, explaining what his thought process was there.
I agree.
I respect that. Not the thought process I would have used, but nevertheless, it's not nothing that he went out there. So
I just respect the fact that, hey, look, this is how I voted. I'm standing behind it. Fine. Okay. I may not agree. I don't agree with a lot of the voting that goes on all over the place in Hall of Fames, different sports.
Yeah.
But I respect that he put his name to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, too, this is going to come off as a defense of Bill Polian. And it really isn't. It's more of a just, I don't know, kind of a get off of my lawn take, I guess. So for anyone who's unaware of this, just kind of give a little bit of context. Bill Polian was scapegoated essentially in this ESPN report. Like, he was moving behind the scenes against Belichick because he's one of the 50 voters, which I don't understand. Why the hell does he have a vote for the Hall of Fame? But okay, sure. He's one of the James Lofton and Dan Fouts have votes. I'm like, why? Why the hell do they have votes? Tony Dungy has a vote. Like, what? Very bizarre. Very, very strange. But Polian has a vote. And for anyone who doesn't know who Bill Polian is or was, Bill Polian was a 6-time executive of the year. Okay, he won a Super Bowl with the Colts. He was the Bills GM for those 90s teams. He took the expansion Panthers to the NFC title game 2 years later into their existence. So he was great.
Good at building teams, yeah.
Unbelievable, right? Deservedly in the Hall of Fame. And I've gotten to know Bill over the years because when I've done these blue ribbon panels at Sports Illustrated that I've put together for historical projects, he's always been willing to do them. So I've gotten to know him, always been nice, always been helpful. I always enjoy our conversations. And so when I saw the article, I just knew, like in the article, it said he couldn't be reached for comment. I was like, well, I bet I could reach him for comment. So I called him, answered the phone. Hey, Bill, what's up? Did you see the news about Belichick? Yeah, I saw the news. Did you see you're mentioned in the ESPN article, and I read him the couple of paragraphs he was mentioned in, and I don't have the quote directly in front of me, but he basically said that is categorically false. I voted for him. Like, okay, can I put that out there? Can I put that on the record? Yeah, you can put it on the record. Okay. So then I tweeted out, and like a couple hours later, he tells ESPN he's 95% sure that he voted for Bill Belichick. Right? I'm like, okay, I mean, whatever. That's interesting, but all right, fine. And then the next day, he called up the Hall of Fame and had them check his ballot, and he did, in fact, vote for Bill Belichick. So, okay. As all this is happening, people across the country are just shitting all over Bill Polian. Like, he's the reason Belichick's not in.
Yeah.
And here's my problem with that. Are these not grown men and women casting votes? Like, what is Bill Polian? What is he, Al Capone? He's shaking people down at the Hall of Fame? You know, like, oh, God, well, Bill Polian told me that we should punish him for Spygate. So, I mean, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, if you're going to vote, be a man or be a woman and vote the way you want to vote. First of all, it's a private vote. It's not like Polian sitting there counting them up like it's a third world dictatorship.
He's not stuffing ballot boxes or anything.
He's not Putin. He's not sitting there looking at the list. Hey, this guy went the other way. Bump him off at the KGB. Like, all these people are acting like Bill Polian somehow like caused an uprising against Belichick. 11 people plus didn't vote for the guy. Like, isn't that a Bill Polian being like, hey, listen, don't vote for this guy? If I had a Hall of Fame vote and Tony Dungy came, and I know Tony's a great guy. If Tony Dungy came up to me and was like, listen, fuck that guy. Don't vote for him. If I thought that guy was a Hall of Famer, I'd vote for him.
Yeah.
It's my damn vote. You don't like him, you don't vote for him. Cool, whatever. Like, I'm voting for him. That has been the biggest scapegoat thing. I think all these people outside of Valle and Mike Chappelle and Indy who haven't come out yet, I think they're all just hiding behind the fact that Polian just got blasted to crap. And it was like, oh, well, what the hell? Just let him take the heat shield of this. Mm-hmm. When in reality, it's like, yeah, listen, Bill Polian had nothing to do with you voting no. And if he did, you're the biggest coward alive and you shouldn't have a vote, nor should you ever have a vote in anything ever again.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening here? It's like if you were going to vote for the president and you had your mind made up and you got to the polls and some random guy came up to you and was like, listen, don't vote for that piece of shit. And you're just like, all right, man, whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? What? So, yeah, the Hall of Fame process is completely busted. I wrote about it for SI. I'm going to write about it again next week with how I think they should fix it. I'm going to talk to voters for it, whole thing. And that's a longer topic for a different day. But, yeah, listen, Belichick not getting in is insane.
It is.
It's like if Tom Brady just didn't get in, which, by the way, Skip Bayless was arguing about. He shouldn't be a Hall of Famer, just in case you're wondering.
We have to talk about some things Skip Bayless adjacent later on in the show.
We do. It wasn't said on Get Up, but we're going to represent it as though it was said on Get Up.
This is like a worse version of Get Up.
Which is a staggering level. Like, if you thought, by the way, I want to just shout out everybody who watches and listens to this show.
Yes.
Tucker and I led the Chargers. So I'll wear this pin. Talked ad nauseum about his show airs at like 4 a.m. And one day we're sitting there talking.
It was after last show. I was like, I think we were talking. I was like, when does it actually air? Because I don't really know.
It airs at 8 a.m. So we were all like, shit. But it doesn't matter. Like, just so everyone knows, we're not aware it airs at 8. We're still going to continue to act like it airs at 4 a.m.
Yes.
But I'm so proud of everyone who watches this show. Not a single person in any forum was like, hey, it's on at 8. Like, not one human being corrected it, right. Which means that no one's watching, which I'm proud of. Yeah. So our audience is awesome. But yeah, in any event, just know that I'm going to continue to refer to it as though it's on at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Might as well be. I mean, golly.
I mean, hey, listen, Pacific Coast time's on at 5 a.m. So.
Not totally wrong. Time zones, you can round. I was told by some dude in college that you can round any number to any number.
Did that guy graduate?
No, he didn't.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, he didn't. It's too bad for him. But
He's still there. He's still trying to get the sophomore year.
Might be. He might still be there. I think he got a letter and asked them not to come back.
They're like, sir, please.
Yeah, like
you're dragging down the reputation. We can't ask for as much money for tuition.
Yeah, we can't.
You're bringing down the school.
I know you want to pay us an obscene amount of money to go to school here, but we cannot let you.
We can't afford it anymore. The money does not outweigh the loss of prestige. Yeah.
Hilarious.
In any event, yeah, we will get to. There were a few takes over the course of this week that will melt your face off.
Yeah, there were. So
I also one about the Browns. We're going to circle back to them.
We do need to circle back. Unfortunately, heavy Browns show today. That's kind of crazy. We haven't even talked about the Chiefs news of the Eric Bieniemy presser. Wait, did we talk? We didn't talk about the Andy Reid North Korean propaganda-esque pressers, did we?
No.
I might regret saying that one, but I'm going to let that one sit. We'll talk about that. We got to take a break. We got to take a break. I did see that the Pro Football Hall of Fame put out a statement about like, hey,
basically threatening their members.
Like, hey, if you talk, we're going to kill you. Speaking of North Korea,
we will find you at your house. Yeah.
Maybe this is your time though. Maybe they go ahead and a couple of voters do their, break the bylaws, and that's where you can slide in there and become a Hall of Fame voter.
I got to tell you, based on what they're saying, the last thing in the world I think they want is me as the Hall of Fame voter, because I will come out and beg, this guy is the reason that Belichick's not in. He was drunk during the meetings. Like the last thing they need is me. Okay, going on Get Up at 4:30 a.m. and telling the whole world in front of Rex Ryan and Jeff Saturday and maybe Will Compton why Bill Belichick isn't in.
I didn't even entertain the thought of us possibly going on Get Up. But the fact that, like, that is technically an option for that to happen is hilarious to me all of a sudden, just realizing that, oh, shit, that could actually happen.
You never know, man. You were the one who told me that the tweet I had went up. It was on Barstool, and PFT commenter. And all these other
yeah, shout out. Part of my take. Obviously, it's a way bigger podcast than this one. But like they talked about your tweet on part of my take. So
you never know, man. Hey, listen. Every once in a while, I remember like the first time it ever happened. I forget what story I brought. I was at Fansided, and Cowherd, like, it was like one of the main blocks of the show was a story I had.
Oh, wow.
And my phone just exploded with like all my college buddies were like, oh my God, like, do you know you're like on it? And then like a year ago, I wrote something about Jamar Chase and like Nick Wright, like led with it on First Things. So every once in a while, you get one of those, but yeah, in any event, yeah, you never know. Like if I get a Hall of Fame vote, there's no telling how many times I go on Get Up to break down. I won't even go to sleep. Like, fuck getting up. I'll just stay up.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Go on at 3:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Well, that's airtime. Call time's probably gonna be like 2:30, right? You got to hop on the Zoom, make sure the audio's good. You got to do sound check and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like reviving half the crew. They've slept for 28 minutes.
Because they also had to go the night before and probably produce like an NBA game, probably late, a West Coast NBA game.
I always appreciate when Stephen A. Smith does like NBA countdown at 2:00 in the morning because like Golden State played Phoenix, and then like 3 hours later, he's just wired as hell on like First Take.
That is insane.
Like how the hell like. Aren't you exhausted, man? Like, at what point is the money not worth it? Just retire.
Isn't that worth it? Yeah.
Like, how much do you need at some point? Just call it a day. Retire. Go home, man.
American greed right there. American greed at its finest.
It's true. But yeah, but in any event, that, believe it or not, is not the segment about these shows. We have some takes we need to get to and address.
Yeah.
As I think our newly self-crowned media ombudsman here, we're looking out for the worst takes. We're looking out for you.
Yeah, we are. We're going to tell you. It's kind of really we're giving these bad takes air, which is not really what we should be doing. Right. But like we want to because they're really easy to dunk on. And a part of me, Matt, thinks that this take was bait. We have to take a break though. We've got too far. We got to take a break. And we need to talk about the Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy press conferences. We do need to do that before we talk about that take. So we're going to take a break. We've gone 33 minutes in this podcast talking about the Browns in the Pro Football Hall of Fame before talking about the Chiefs. I hope you stick with us, Chiefs.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
Heather Luce, broker owner, KC Local Homes, and Emprise Bank has been a great partner for us. They're our partner in Possible. Debbie and I hit it off immediately, and she was one of the first bankers that I would say sat down with me and actually genuinely cared about my story and where I was coming from and what I was trying to do, not just what kind of loan do you need, how much equity do you have, and she really kind of laid out my options for me and just made the process make sense, and I felt comfortable with it. Start to talk about it and think about it, a building popped up that I wanted, that I could afford, and it was in a great area. And so they really guided me through the SBA. I used the SBA loan to acquire it and really guided me through that process and made it happen. I think that we talk about that a lot, where we wouldn't have a business. We wouldn't have what we have here if we didn't have the clientele that we do. I've always functioned out of a people over profits mentality. The houses sell themselves, right? I'm here to help people and facilitate the transaction for them.
What is happening, good people? It is Benny Heiss, KCSN betting analyst. And guess what? We got the Super Bowl coming around just in the nick of time. Cannot wait. And listen, it's the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook that is built for the moment. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. Listen, we've seen some wild Super Bowls, right? And we've also seen that anything can happen during the Super Bowl. And the good news is that DraftKings will have your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. It's that easy. Taking a look at the early line here, right now we're seeing the Seahawks at -4.5 at -115 odds over at DraftKings Sportsbook, which means the Patriots +4.5 as underdogs at +190 on the money line with a total of 46.5. Whether you're looking at the actual game itself, the different possibilities for Super Bowl MVP, or you're just looking to get in on some of these wild and wacky props that are available only during the Super Bowl, you can get those over at DraftKings. And remember, if you're new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, remember to call 1-800-GAMBLER. You must be 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
So it's old news, but now not Eric Bieniemy, but Andy Reid had a press conference on Monday. Eric Bieniemy had a press conference on Wednesday.
Yes.
They had their press conferences. Andy Reid's was a lot more odd than Eric Bieniemy's was. I thought, here's the thing, Matt. It didn't take a whole lot away from the Eric Bieniemy press conference, but the one thing I did take away was that I love listening to Eric Bieniemy talk, and it was the full Eric Bieniemy experience where he said a whole lot of words but didn't say anything at the same time. He also got distracted mid quote, like mid answer, because his phone was buzzing, and then he was like, "I lost my train of thought," and then he just kept saying just a bunch of like coach speak about chopping wood and getting after there. And I was just like listening to it, and I couldn't help but have a big smile on my face because I love listening to his voice and just listening to him talk about football. That was awesome.
Listen, I enjoy a few things more than Eric Bieniemy animated, just yelling at somebody. And I know that maybe isn't like changing the whole scheme, but Andy's got to do that part of it anyway. I look, very forward to the first time that somebody does something egregiously wrong for the second time in the same practice, and Bieniemy just goes absolutely Chernobyl level irate at that person. No, listen, to your point about Andy Reid's state-sponsored pressers out of Pyongyang or whatever the hell that city is.
Pyeongchang.
Yes, Pyeongchang. Or the next Olympics will be. No, that would be incredible. The Summer Olympics, no one can see them.
Not far off, probably, from that happening.
But yeah, look, like always is the case with the Chiefs. I didn't learn anything from any of the press conferences because they don't say anything. The only presser that's ever worth something is Veach. Veach is like unfailingly honest. You know, like I'm telling everybody here right now, you want to know what the Chiefs are going to do this offseason? Listen to Brett Veach at the Combine. He will literally tell you. He will just walk up there and be like, yeah, probably going to do this, probably going to do that, a couple other things. Like, and you can just take it to the bank. Andy, on the other hand, they could be winning the Super Bowl or could be 3-14 and you'd never know the difference. Yeah, you know, pretty good. Doing fine. Everything's good. Looks great. Team looks good. We were a top 5 offense. Not a problem. And listen, all I would say to people out there, because I've gotten a lot of people tweet at me, DM me, like, oh my God, did you hear that press conference? He thinks they're good offensively. They just fired like half their coaching staff on offense. They don't think they're fine offensively.
Right.
Okay. Matt Nagy, the North Korean / Kansas City line was, we're letting him go out and search for a head coach opportunity, which, to be fair, I'm sure is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
They did that with EB years ago, a couple of years. But there's one big glaring difference. When EB was done doing the circuit and didn't get hired, the Chiefs brought him back. As Matt Nagy was doing the circuit and his contract expired, the Chiefs immediately hired Eric Bieniemy. Okay, so the Chiefs fired Matt Nagy. Yes. It was like whatever the employer version of a quiet quit. That's what that was.
Yeah,
like one day the key card just stopped working.
I do love how that was. Matt Nagy was offered an extension and he chose not to sign an extension because they did whatever they could to soften the blow of they did whatever they could to say we didn't fire him. We offered an extension and he chose not to take it because he's going to be the fucking quarterback coach at Kansas at this rate because there's no offensive coordinator positions open anymore. It's closing fast and he's not getting. Well, I guess he could get Arizona, but that's not even a job. Yeah.
No, that's a job that you tell people you have. Be like, oh, that's a team. Look, I really do wonder what Nagy's future is, but I also think the Chiefs did him every solid they possibly could have. And okay, it didn't work out. He didn't get once he get the Titans job, it was over. Because if Borgonzi wasn't going to hire him,
that was his best shot.
Yeah. And then the other side of this is, I do wonder behind the scenes if it was Andy who was like, look, we love Matt, but he's got to go. Or if it was Pat who went to Andy and was like, he's got to go. I think, look, I've talked about this a few times here, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but Mahomes' persona is genuinely a lot like what he is. Like he's, from all accounts, a very nice, open, mild-mannered guy. You know, obviously a maniac on the field, but as a human being, so a really good, down-to-earth dude. And I think that's an accurate assessment from everything I've ever known of him. I will also tell you, though, there is a side to him that, like every great athlete, they want to win in an unhealthy way. They do. That's why they are who they are. Michael Jordan didn't lose games and go, it's all right. That's not the way it was handled. Tom Brady did not lose games and go, well, you know what? We'll just try to get him next year. We'll see what happens. I was in the locker room after they lost to Philly. To say he was unhappy would be an understatement. Did not take that well in the moment and wasn't a jerk about it, but was furious. I can't imagine after that, now with a torn ACL and they're 6-11. I'm thinking that, look, and I honestly, I don't know any, this is just my opinion. I wonder if at the end of the year, whether it was literally after the season or like last couple games when Mahomes was still in Kansas City but wasn't playing at that point, if he went in there and was like, look, I know you like the guy, I know Brett likes him. If you like to win football games, we got to do something different here. And I'm out on him. And, look, we were talking before the show. I mean, he is a fan of Eric Bieniemy.
Oh, yeah.
We're not breaking any news here. Like, he is a fan of Bieniemy. And I wonder if part of that is because, and I know people get all pissed off about this word because it is a bit of a buzzword, but I think it's accurate in this regard. I wonder if for Mahomes, he knows if Bieniemy's there, he doesn't have to hold people accountable. He's not the guy who's in charge of doing that. I know that was a big thing with Aikman when Jimmy Johnson left and Barry Switzer came in. And he just got sick and tired of feeling like he had to always be the bad cop in the room. I wonder if that's part of it. But in any event, look, the Chiefs had 2 pressers that meant absolutely nothing. Mahomes is seemingly doing well. Schefter put out a tweet about Gardner Minshew that he didn't tear his ACL, which we knew that on like Christmas.
Yeah, that was weird.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did it the day after the game happened.
Yeah, I feel like this is like incredibly old news.
That seemed really odd for her to put that out, but
listen. As far as my last line, Nagy. If Nagy can't get a job right now after the Chiefs did everything they could to help him, and his agent spent $70 million in PR,
he did a lot. Yeah, everything except pay us, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I think he knew we couldn't be bought. But it's, I'm just kidding. If you got money, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, we are pretty easily bought.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you give me like a gift card to like an Arby's, I'm in.
Except Fanatics, don't talk to me.
That's right. Some things are too serious.
Yes.
But yeah, look, it does feel like Matt Nagy, this is going to be a long road back. I don't know that this is going to be a quick like turnaround here.
I don't think so either. Unfortunately for Mr. Nagy. Very, very unfortunate for him. But, I mean, his son does play at Kansas, so maybe he can get a quality coaching job at the University of Kansas and not really have to leave, not have to move, It'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But Eric Bieniemy's press conference was a typical Eric Bieniemy press conference. The beard, love the beard look for EB.
Beard serious.
That is a great look. I wonder... And Josh Briscoe brought this up on Only Weird Games. I wonder if he'll keep it for training camp because St. Joe with that beard is going to be kind of cumbersome.
Going to be hot.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that'll...
We'll monitor the situation.
We will. We will. You could go goatee with it. That'd be kind of sick. I love the white is good there. The Andy Reid press conference, what just pissed me off is it just seemed like he was gaslighting us the whole time. It was like, no, we were good. We were good. It was like, no, Andy, we watched. We saw the team. I don't know. It just seemed a little bit of just like a bunch of like a gaslighting special. And I'm just like him just like throwing, like answering a question, but then in the middle be like, yeah, just, 1-score games didn't go our way. And we were still top 5 in a lot of categories. And it's just like, wait, that's not what the question was about. It's like he had cue cards in front of the laptop that he was on. And there's like, hey, Andy, you need to talk about this stat here. Talk about this stat. And he just like throw it out there. I don't think that's what happened, but got to cover my bases. I don't think that's what happened, but it seemed like that's what was going on. And it was one of the things where it was also really weird because it was a press conference about them hiring Eric Bieniemy, but Eric Bieniemy wasn't on the call and he just wanted to talk about Matt Nagy the whole time.
Yeah.
And like how Matt Nagy deserves to be a head coach in the National Football League. Also gave a shout out very early on to Joe Blameyer as well.
He did.
And he keeps giving Joe Blameyer shout outs, and which is really interesting because they have these guys who are really apparently a part of a top 5 offense, according to Andy Reid, Joe Blameyer and Matt Nagy, but neither of them can sniff a job elsewhere. I just find that interesting. I don't know. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm just noticing things over here, Matt.
You've been good at that this offseason,
Do my
especially
best.
with Chiefs coaching searches.
Let me refresh the site real quick. See if we got any live noticings going on.
All of a sudden, like Joe Cullen's not there. Wait a minute. Andy Reid's not there. No, but like, oh my God.
It's like,
That's how the Chiefs announced it.
this is Eric Bieniemy up at head coach.
Yeah. What Clark Hunsley going to save more money? What? This is the only way they're going to field the team.
Never mind.
Oh my God, no.
Never. We don't need to talk about them.
Look, I think Andy's pressers, I've learned over the years, like my dad will always, hey, did you watch Andy's press conference? Why? Yeah. What point is there? The next time Andy Reid says something valuable on a press conference, it's going to be the first time. And listen, that's fine. Like that's his job is to
100%
supposed to invest, whatever. I'm not knocking him, but like Andy is a master. He's never rude. He's not mean, but he is not going to say anything.
Nope.
Not going to do it. He's not going to go up there and pull a Sean McDermott at the microphone and be like, I stand with Buffalo. And then he got fired.
Those were his last comments. No, that's not true, right? He had another.
No, that was it.
He didn't have a Monday presser after that?
He got fired on the Monday.
Oh, shit. You're right.
Yeah, he did call Buffalo News from 40,000 feet.
Did he really?
Dude, he called the Buffalo News from the airplane coming back from Denver and was like, I watched the play 15 times over and this is bullshit. Yeah, he called the Buffalo News from the airplane.
I mean, clearly an interception.
Listen,
delusion's a hell of a drug.
Delusion's a hell of a drug, and so is grief, sadness, rage, and like one big Molotov cocktail. Yeah, not good.
Altitude sickness.
Yeah, a lot going on there.
Yeah.
So
a lot going on there.
Not ideal for the Bills, but yeah, and then the Bills who then immediately hired their offensive coordinator.
Can we talk about how they always do the wildest shit right after we get done recording? I assume when this podcast is post at 8:00 in the morning, that at 8:15 they're gonna do some dumb shit again. Because it keeps happening, Matt, when we record a podcast. It happened when they fired Sean McDermott, where we posted that podcast at 8 a.m. and at 8:13 a.m. they fired Sean McDermott.
They screwed us.
They did. They really screwed us. And then, oh gosh, what was the crazy thing that happened before? Oh, the press conference that they had.
Yeah, Pagula.
The Pagula and Bean press conference. That happened after we recorded, obviously. So we talked about that on the Friday show.
Yeah.
And then they immediately, right after the Friday show, request to interview Phillip Rivers. They interviewed Phillip Rivers for their job, and he
pulled
backed
out of
out.
consideration, by the way. I'm good.
I also pulled out of consideration for that one too. First time Phillip Rivers pulled out of anything.
That's true based on the fact that he's got 98 kids. But
yeah, shout out to all of my replies saying that. Every one of my responses said that. Shout out to them. And then so they did that, and then they hire Joe Brady after just relentlessly bashing their coaching staff that they had in place and said, we need something else. This coaching staff is so freaking stupid. They like Keon Coleman.
Correct.
Can you believe it? They like Keon Coleman, and our coaching staff is so dumb. Anyway, here's the offensive coordinator as your head coach now.
Yeah.
Tough one.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say whether I think Brady's going to be a good or a bad coach, because we'll see.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what their logic is.
No.
So they are telling you that all of this is on Sean McDermott.
Yes.
They are saying we fired the guy who called the Buffalo News from 40,000 feet, and we now, which okay, fair, but we now feel like we don't have to change anything else. Everything else is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they might get Jim Leonard in there as their DC, and that's fine. But a lot of coaching staff's going to stay in place. And most importantly, you promoted your offensive coordinator to fire the coach. I can't remember the last time a team fired its head coach and then just promoted a coordinator.
Yeah.
I can think of guys retiring and that happening, but guys getting fired. And I don't know, what about this guy? He's already in the building.
Yeah. What about the same staff?
Yeah, what? And look, they scored a lot of points this year, but if you watch the Bills offensively, not exactly a scheme-driven group, a lot of bubble screens and just handing off to James Cook and praying to God he could make 3 people miss. Like, I don't know. It wasn't great. Bills fans universally hate the hire.
Which makes sense because they spent all of the season talking about how they wanted to fire Joe Brady.
Yeah, he bitched about him nonstop, how it's all on Josh Allen and that's it. Yeah. And then Brady gets up in the presser and is like, look, I'm the best thing that ever happened in Keon Coleman. I'm sorry. Have you not been calling the offense the last couple of years? What? Joe Brady was a run-of-the-mill assistant at William and Mary and Penn State, and then he became a low-level offensive assistant in New Orleans for a couple of years under Sean Payton, and then he went to LSU, which is obviously a hop, skip, and a jump from New Orleans, and he became the passing game coordinator, and he got unbelievably uber famous because he walked into a situation that had Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and who was the other receiver they had?
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like,
that offense was so stacked, by the way. Like, it's so dumb.
You see that LSU offense? Must see that coach over there who's getting it done.
Yeah.
My daughter could have coached that three. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. And they win the national title. Burrow has video game numbers. And then Brady goes and takes over the Panthers for 2 years as EOC, and they suck.
Horrible.
Okay. Horrendous. Then he was with Matt Rule. Then
that also probably had a lot to do with it.
That didn't help things. So I brought it up. Then he goes, and he's the QB coach in Buffalo for 2 years. Like, okay, fine, sure, whatever. The interim OC at the end of 23. And then in that stretch, by the way, 2023, they ran the ball a lot more, but Stephon Diggs basically got turned into like Sky Moore for like the back half of the season. And then in 2024, offensively, they were very good. I don't want to say fun. They were very good. Allen won the MVP, even though Lamar should have. But Allen won the MVP. They are fine. Look, they're not throwing the ball over. I mean, Allen didn't even throw 4,000 yards that year, but like whatever. They did what they needed to do. This past year, granted, not great receivers, but again, kind of a train wreck schematically. And then they promoted him to be the head coach's team, and their whole line out of the presser over and over and over is how they want a CEO type and they want synergy. It's like, okay, so basically they wanted somebody who's just going to get in line with me. That's basically what they want. Like, because that when you start talking about alignment, which is the word they kept using over and over and over, that tells me one thing. Sean McDermott wasn't going to get in line with Brandon Beane. And Joe Brady's gonna.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, you know who else wouldn't have? Brian Dable.
Correct.
So that's why they hired Joe Brady. Because Joe Brady will go, okay, Brandon, sure, whatever you want. And that's what the Bills want. And I got to tell you, I don't know that that's a real winning strategy.
They're putting their faith in a GM that has not really hit on very many players.
The man drafted Kyrie Element and was excited about it.
Yeah. That did happen.
It did.
I think the only Pro Bowlers, maybe I'm wrong in this regard. I need to double check this. The only Pro Bowlers that he's drafted outside of Josh Allen are like Tre'Davious White.
No, he did not draft him. He drafted 2 Pro Bowlers. One of them was James Cook.
Okay.
And one of them was Dawson Knox.
All right.
Great. Dawson Knox is one of them.
Dawson Knox.
And by the way, now it's 3 because Dalton Kincaid was like the 18th alternate. And
I was going to say, Dawson Knox was probably like a 5th alternate when he was named that. And then, yeah.
So, great. That's what you've done. Congratulations. You drafted Boogie Basham in the 2nd round. It's been just a casserole of nonsense. You traded back. Like, say whatever you want about Xavier Worthy. Xavier Worthy is Jerry Rice compared to Ken Coleman. Okay? And
Very true.
They willfully gave the Chiefs Xavier Worthy, who, by the way, cooked him in the AFC Championship game as a rookie. He just killed him over and over and over in that game. Yeah, look, I mean, if your goal when you're hiring a head coach is to basically hire somebody who's just going to get in line, that's the problem.
Yeah. I don't think that's very good, but I'm not an NFL, not an NFL GM, and I'm not an NFL owner. So
Right.
what do I know? I'm just a big, dumb podcaster.
Well, maybe that's all true for all of us, but regardless, I feel like it's a fair take. I guess to pivot though, are you more confident in Brandon Beane's ability to manage a team to a Super Bowl, or Emmanuel Acho to have a take that doesn't just burn your face off with the heat of 1,000 suns? Which one are you more confident?
Probably Brandon Beane, but it is by the smallest of margins. I'm also noticing Brandon Beane drafted Nathan Peterman, so
Not good.
yeah, real high for quarterbacks. Yeah, Emmanuel Acho had maybe the worst take I've ever seen in my life, and he actually does he really tries very hard to one up himself on how bad his takes are.
He does.
And it is impressive. It legitimately is impressive how bad every single one of his takes are. Recently, this was the one that was going around. It was about Shadur Sanders, and actually about the Browns coaching situation. He said, as in Emmanuel Acho said, if I'm Shadur Sanders, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What have you won on an NFL level? There's a lot there. There's a lot there to kind of unpack of when you get past just like the blatant ignorance of like just the quote in general. Shadur Sanders is a 5th round pick, by the way, 5th round, going to be a 2nd-year player. Todd Monken is, I think we said 60. He's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL for a very long time, has been around football for a very long time. Emmanuel Acho, I think, had 22 tackles in his NFL career. And
it wasn't a lot.
He didn't even play enough to get CTE. So for him to have takes like this is no excuse, because usually these players can be like, oh, well, he has CTE. He didn't play enough for that to happen. So I saw this come across the desk, and I immediately thought, that's bait. Like, he can't be serious about this. But he also keeps defending it.
I think he is serious about it. So he feels that there's no reason for Sanders to listen to Monken.
Correct.
Because what has Todd Monken ever done in the NFL?
Correct.
Shadur Sanders should listen to anyone alive in the NFL. I'm thinking, probably take some advice. Look, there are takes that people say, and I just go, okay, yeah, sure, bud. And I move on. And then there are takes that I see them and I look at them, and I'm like the human version of the Bert and Ernie gif, where I just look up over the book and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then there's this take. And it's like, all right, look, I know he didn't play for a long time in the NFL, but played in the NFL. And he played high school ball, he played college ball. This is a guy who, he was around. He understands how football works, how the locker room works. God, I hope so. You think Shadur Sanders has clout in that locker room? Are you kidding me? Myles Garrett doesn't need to listen to Todd Monken. Okay. Denzel Ward, you could argue, doesn't have to listen to Todd Monken. I'm thinking Shadur Sanders has to listen to Todd Monken. What?
Yeah.
I just, these are the kind of takes that genuinely make me sit there and say, how as a society have we allowed ourselves to be so stupid that this guy has a platform anywhere, let alone on Get Up, which is not really on Get Up, by the way, but I'm just going to keep just feeding the flame.
Driving it, yeah.
Yeah. He's on something called Speakeasy.
Can I tell you about this platform a little bit, Matt?
Yeah, please.
So Speakeasy is a show, kind of a play on words, right? Speak easy, and then they kind of have it set up like a
just called Stop Speaking, but yes.
Yeah, it should be called
Never Speak.
Cease and Desist. They're actually live right now as we're recording this podcast, which I'm halfway tempted to hop in. And TJ Hushmanzada's there? That's weird.
Now I'm not tempted anymore.
Yeah, didn't know that was a thing. So It also is Emmanuel Acho and LaShawn McCoy are the two main hosts with the producer Care Bear Kieran. So shout out to those folks. I'm on their Twitter page right now. And Matt, I don't know if you know how old this show is. Not very old, right? Because Emmanuel Acho was working for Fox Sports pretty recently. So why is the Twitter account joined in 2016 of August of 2016? Why is that Twitter account? Why, when I go to the Speakeasy YouTube channel, it also joined in August of 2016? That's kind of strange too. Well, if you are looking at Speakeasy and if you are seeing all of these followers, 521.8 thousand followers on the Speakeasy Twitter page, like that. Boy, that's a lot. I'm looking at the Speakeasy YouTube page right now. 2.61 million subscribers. You're like, 2 million people subscribe to Emmanuel Acho's podcast?
Not a chance.
We're having our case a little bit of rebranding going on here, where it looks like they took the Undisputed YouTube channel, they deleted all of the videos, they scrubbed it clean, and this is now Speakeasy and no longer Undisputed. And he got I will say, I think it was Asante Samuel, weirdly enough, called Emmanuel Acho out and was like, he's like, you bought your platforms. And he said, he as an Emmanuel Acho was like, I've never bought anything in my life. And the Emmanuel Acho was like, oh yeah, you've been doing the show since 2016. And then he stopped replying. Did she just think that him making a YouTube page just automatically got 2 million subscribers? Like, that's the thing to me, is like, he just thinks he had 2 million subscribers already. Like, that's insane.
You know that he probably did.
Oh, he 100% did. He's like, oh yeah, people want to hear what I have to say. I just had 2 million people automatically. Boom.
Do you know how brutal you've got to be fired by Fox Sports because your takes are too over the top? Do you know how possible that is?
They currently have a morning show done by Barstool Sports.
Correct. They had to fire Craig Carton because they just couldn't take it anymore. Okay,
and that's something against Barstool Sports. Sports, like, I mean, truthfully, like that's over the top. We're talking over the top stuff. They do over the top stuff.
That is their whole brand, is to be over the top and ridiculous and all that, right. So the powers that be at Fox Sports are fine with that. We're fine with Craig Carton, which Google Craig Carton, and there you go. They don't have to Google him anymore.
Don't have to Google him anymore.
Man did hard time, and they were fine with that. They were fine with all of this stuff, but they drew the line at Acho. They were like, listen, we are losing credibility. Okay? It's a problem. He needs to go.
I think it's funny with this Speakeasy show is, Emmanuel Acho was on Fox Sports, right? LaShawn McCoy was on Fox Sports, and they were on the same show together. Do you know the third person who was on that show with them, Matt?
God. Was it Chase Daniel?
Was Chase Daniel.
It was, right?
Why the fuck did Chase Daniel get boxed out of the Speakeasy? Is what I want to know. They said no Chase in this one. We're not doing this with Chase. Damn. Tough for Chase. But also, honestly, good for Chase, because he doesn't have to be around a brain dead take like a 5th round pick doesn't need to listen to a head coach in the National Football League. That's insane.
We need to stop allowing people to speak. We really do.
There really needs to be and this is like hypocritical coming from us, right? There really needs to be a barrier to entry to this profession of like podcasting. It shouldn't be so easy to buy podcasting equipment. I don't think we need to let every former player have a podcast.
Gatekeeping situation.
We need to gatekeep more, actually.
Keep everyone else out. Maybe like Media Row could do this next year. I want a bad takes Olympics where we just in one room, like one table is these bozos from Fox Sports that have just either been like fired and turned into Speakeasy or just group them together.
Yeah.
And then one table can be the worst people on social media. And then another table can be Get Up.
Mm-hmm.
And then a fourth table, do we have as a separate table for First Take? Like ESPN just takes 50% of the room. And
Unfortunately.
We lock him in and we just like through a loudspeaker that pipes into the room. You're like, give us your takes on LeBron. And then we just see how long it takes for one of the tables to finally just self-combust. Like,
right. Yes.
the take can't get any worse. Like, I don't know what else I can say. I think Rod Strickland's was better. And then it just evolves into like almost like an episode at some point. And maybe it ends with somebody punching somebody. Who cares? Fine. That's great. We could have it on like closed circuit TV. We need it. And it's great if you have 4 teams, because then if you're doing the Bad Take Olympics, you give out gold, silver, and bronze. Somebody's got to walk out of the Bad Take Olympics with nothing.
I think I just added to piggyback off of your Bad Take Olympics idea. This is what we have to do at the Super Bowl is we will set up a mic and we will set up a camera and we will have it rolling. We're going to set up a sign that says, give us your hottest take. And we are going to do one episode where we just tear apart everyone's take that walks by. You know, I'm sure KCSM will have a table there, right? We'll set up and we're probably doing a couple podcasts right out there anyway.
Yeah.
I think what would be really funny. Live production meeting right here. I think it'd be really funny if like one of the nights that we do a podcast, it's like you in one bed and me in the other bed. Just holding the microphones. I think that would be funny.
I'm down.
But I think just having people, well, they're gonna have ramifications because we're gonna play them back and we're gonna dunk on them. But just having a forum where they think that they're safe, right? Like a kind of like a confessional booth, you know? Just like, what is your hottest take? And they just come in there and say like, I think that Sam Darnold is better than LeBron, and it's like,
all right, Stephen A. Get out of the booth.
Stephen, you've given us 14 already. We don't.
You've been there for an hour. For Christ's sake, you get lost? What the hell happened in there?
But yeah, that I like the Bad Take Olympics. That's really good. BJ and I had a really good content idea for the Combine that I think is probably just going to be too much logistics for us. We were going to do like, have you been to the office? Have you been to the studio?
No.
You've seen that we have like the Blitz machine back there though, right?
Yes.
We were going to take the Blitz machine to the Combine and then do a media blitz tournament. So like we'd have a bracket and we would like assign matchups.
Dude, that's awesome.
And like try to like live stream it. We thought about that, but it's like the logistics of that would just kind of be a nightmare. But it would have been
NBA Jam right over there in case we want to just have these like arcade going on.
That's true. It's like you get eliminated from the NFL Blitz one. You go to the NBA Jam bracket.
I've got NBA Jam. I got Space Invader sitting right over there. So,
Wolf.
Listen,
Great shows.
Get out. Listen,
games.
Yeah.
I'm still researching about Emmanuel Ocho and this stupid ass show.
Do you think sometimes he just lays in bed at night and just laughs himself to sleep? Like, I can't believe I've made millions of dollars doing this.
I can't believe he's made millions of dollars doing this. I lay awake at night thinking about that. He probably does. He probably
Son
does.
of a bitch. How do I make that kind of money?
He keeps getting away with it.
Yeah.
Type of deal. So I'm just to kind of tidy this up on Speakeasy. I've been saying a lot of 2016 dates, right? Of when all of their accounts have been made.
Yep.
This article that I'm reading from Awful Announcing, which is pulling from a Vanity Fair article that was written on September the 3rd of 2025. So they didn't start in 2016. Undisputed. Let me double check this. I am 97% sure it started in September of 2016. Fox Sports. Like I am very certain it did. Okay. Yep, September 6th of 2016 was when the first episode launched. And they took that YouTube video, they took that YouTube channel and that audio platform and that Twitter account and that, oh wait, let me double check. Did they take the Instagram account too? Yes, they did. They took that Instagram account too.
Yeah, probably.
They took the Instagram account too because it has 740,000 followers. There's no way that they launched in September and have 740,000 people saying, yeah, I want to listen to that. They had to trap. Yeah, see, like I got one of my buddies who follows this. There's no way he listens to Speakeasy. There's no way.
You need to call him and have an intervention now.
I think I need to shoot him a text actually and be like, hey.
Just call him. Wake him up. Because we're recording this like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, he is a teacher, so he is asleep. Yeah.
Yeah. You call him up big. Hey, it's an emergency. And when you get, I said, what? Are you subscribed to Speakeasy?
You got to unsubscribe right now. Do you even know what Speakeasy is?
My God, you're molding young minds.
And you're listening to Manuel Ocho every day?
Now, to be fair, he clearly was listening to Undisputed.
Yeah.
So the intervention really should have happened a while ago.
Yeah, sorry, KB. I think that's all I got, other than the fact that the Titans are just hiring bald coaches. Have you seen this?
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, in any event, we'll keep our eyes out in the next week here for some unbelievable takes that I'm sure are coming during the Super Bowl week.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. There's going to be a lot of content coming out. As I mentioned, Matt and I will be at the Super Bowl Wednesdays when we get in.
Yep.
We'll have a couple podcasts for you, I'm sure. We'll make sure to give you a little bit of the extra content as well. Who knows? Maybe we'll have another situation where Ian and Jordan Schultz find themselves in a Starbucks again, and we got to do a flash podcast, right? That would be incredible. This is now the second week in a row we haven't done power rankings on a Friday, but we'll
get there.
Are way too much out of time. Let me do our Friday ritual where I go and see if we have any 5-star ratings and reviews. Appreciate obviously everyone who listens to the pod. Well, that was a 4-star review, and they're upset that we attacked Josh Allen, so I'm not reading that one. That football show from Rebel Chiefs. A concerned citizen here. Matt V is a bad influence on Tucker. Tucker has a potty mouth now. To be fair, Tucker was headed down this road already. 5 stars.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I do kind of want to read this one. Longtime fan. This is a 4-star review from Armchair Fantasy Expert. I've been listening to KCSN since it started. Tons of great content, but as of late, there's been too much focus on trying to bring down other players and teams around the league. Attacking Josh Allen on every episode the past few weeks does not make Mahomes any better or worse. Please recenter the focus and energy around the shows. Well, Armchair Fantasy Expert, we didn't do that. They did it to themselves.
Listen.
And we're commenting on it.
I appreciate the comment. But 2 things. You can take very little out of this show that is like super serious. Okay. That's kind of the whole fun of the show. Secondly, though, we really, I can honestly, none of it was ever bring up Mahomes. But secondly, it was in response to what became a generational PR campaign.
That's true.
Josh Allen basically is trying to win with like the 1976 Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And listen, can he win like a meaningful game before we start making him the greatest player who's ever lived in any sport? Like, that was really what it was about. So I understand the comment. I get it. You may notice that we haven't been ripping on Josh Allen in recent pods because, quite frankly, I mean, you can say, well, he's not playing. Yeah, but he's not playing because he lost to Bo Nix on one ankle. It's
true.
I'm not sitting here ripping on Joe Burrow. I'm not sitting here really ripping on Lamar. And the reason is because I don't have to turn on TV every morning and listen to how any of those guys are the greatest player you've ever seen in your life. Like, if you're going to have that kind of takeage around you, that football show is going to bite back.
We're just swinging the pendulum in the other direction.
We are correcting the media's wrongs.
We are. That's really what it is. And it might seem like an aggressive overcorrection.
It might be.
But these days, sometimes dire situations call for dire responses. Gotta do what you gotta do.
It's true.
But I appreciate the constructive criticism and feedback. We will be better. You know, that's what we are.
Try to be. Whether or not we will be.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, I don't know if we will actually be better, but we will at least attempt to be.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for this show. Holy cow, we went an hour and 23 minutes. That's a lot longer than I thought we were going to go on a Super Bowl lead-up episode where there's nothing going on, but apparently a lot going on. Oh, yeah, Eli Manning didn't make the Hall of Fame either.
Yeah, apparently we're going to know the class, I guess, like 6 days before we even get to it. So, yeah, there you go. He's not in.
And Mike Kafka didn't get an offensive coordinator job either. He's just now on the staff of the Lions, which is kind of a crazy fall from grace. So I think that
not great to be a former Chiefs assistant coach at the moment.
No.
Unless they want to hire you, in which case it's great.
Not a good week to have your last name be Lombardi either, because the Broncos fired their head coach or offensive coordinator. That'll fix it.
Yeah.
Now I've crossed everything off my list.
There you go.
All right, that's going to do it. Thank you for listening all the way to the very end of the podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back on Monday. Oh no, we're not going to have any games to talk about. Maybe we should have left some stuff in the canister.
There'll be plenty of stuff over the next 3 days.
There will be. Emmanuel Acho's
hire somebody out. Yeah, Acho's, dude. He's getting a good night's rest right now. I got 10 takes, and here they come.
Please tag Matt and I on Twitter for the worst takes that you guys see, at Tucker Franklin, at Matt Verderame. Please tag us on Twitter. I do appreciate when people see bad takes and they're like, you guys got to see this. So continue to do that. We'll be back on Monday to talk about those and so much more. We'll see you on Monday.